like it's your story that you guys were telling. So really try and get into content. So like would it be like to walk, for example, for a little while in the hut? Would that feel like you? Really try and like incorporate that. So see if you can try it. That really travels. Determine in the space where you might want to start certain places. Yeah.
I had a bicycle that sit in class.
So you started to do that, and you go back to your right back. Okay, maybe like 1 more minute.
I was one of the big.
And then I graduated and got a job as a professor. Driving on buses.
And my family was politics. Was work.
Okay, can someone else do the end of their life since I did the middle? Somebody heard me?
Was work, and I became poor.
Sophie, what do you imagine the end of your life look like?
After like
And one book.
kids and family.
Yeah, what happens next?
What going on? I got inspired by teachers, family.
The hands falling.
To keep going forward, to not give up, and to be able to form my own family.
What about the end of life? What do you want to do towards the end of
To
your life?
place
We're still in school here. Yeah. What do you want to look like? How about you? You're busy volunteering, Sophie. How about you? What's it going to look like?
All right, maybe like 30 more seconds. If we don't get to the end today, maybe we can.
I guess we could do this one for just a minute. Watch them grow up. I don't know how to do old.
Well, what does all look like? What does all look like, Lauren?
Great. Okay, so maybe just
I don't know how to do
we'll revisit these again, not forever. Okay. Okay, great. So thank you for sharing your story with your smaller groups. Could we have maybe one of the groups offer to share their story with the rest of the class? Does anyone want to potentially share theirs? We'll have more than one, so don't feel, great, thank you. Angela. Okay. So, if we could all be really attentive audience members, right? Like what would that look like in your body? And show, this is Angelo's life, right? So give that the respect that you would want somebody to give you if you were sharing your life story with them. Yeah? Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
We'll follow you.
I was born in a big house, and I was being loved by my family, a lot of caring, and we were very rich a lot. And my family was involved in politics, a lot of politics, and we had a lot of business, very rich, and we got turned over. And after, our party got turned over, and we became very poor. But while growing up, I was inspired by my teachers and my family members to keep going forward, to not give up, keep working, maybe form my own family, and afterward go to a place peace, no noise, very calm, and I can work hard, support my family, and be happy.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you also to Group 1 for sharing that with us. Would you mind just kind of talking to us a little bit about what that felt like to do that right now in front of everyone? Any ideas?
I think it's a good. I think I want to put it in terms of general, like it's like using art, like to express yourself. Like you can, because art as I'm saying art as a performance. Like you can use performance art, like dancing, singing, anything, like to just express your feeling, your perspective, showing your lifestyle, like a way like you can express yourself better, like to be free, you know, like to let your body go in motion with your words, like, and it makes like the person who's doing it, like not only more happy to do it, but they can reflect themselves better, you know, and the audience who's looking at them can also try to relate to them, you know.
And what did it feel like to have people behind you kind of mimicking your same movements while you were doing it?
It make me feel like, because when you're doing something alone, sometimes it's getting harder, you know, it's getting harder, and sometimes the shyness is higher. So with the people doing a lot behind me, it's like they're supporting me. We're doing it as a group, so I can express myself even more better.
Cool.
You know?
And how about maybe from someone else from group one, do you want to talk about what it was like to embody Angelo's life story?
Well, I felt that it was sort of inspiring. I mean, I didn't know that about him, so, I learned something. I thought he did a really good job.
Were there any particular moments, and sorry, I was just going to say this, when we speak, can we maybe speak to the rest of the group, because I am just a person in this room, even though I happen to be up at this corner of the room. But was there a particular moment, maybe for the rest of you in group one, that you felt like in Angelo's story was, that made you feel very excited or happy when you were going through it? You can remember any particular moment that sticks with you, any movement or gesture?
His loving family.
His loving family. Other parts that maybe make you feel a little bit more uncomfortable in your body?
The turnover of his family.
The turnover. For me, in watching it, I was really aware of the politics, right? It's politics and the working hard was really stood out to me. Yeah.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Where were you born? Because I don't remember.
I was in Haiti.
Oh.
Haiti.
Great. So can I ask you to do one more thing for me, group one? I know you guys have already done a lot. Angelo, would you go back to a moment, and group one, if you could go ahead and flock with Angelo in this moment. But go to a moment for you that felt like maybe a little bit more difficult. Go to a moment in your story that felt like you might want to revise it a little bit, or if you could maybe do something different. Not revise it in this moment, but maybe a part of your life that feels a little bit more difficult.
Could you clarify, are you asking him to change the movement or change the story?
That's a good question. I think I'm just asking you to maybe go to that moment in your story. So just some part of it that maybe feels a little bit less comfortable. Would you be willing to do that? I know it's a lot.
Less comfortable.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. I really.
What do you mean by less comfortable? Like,
Let's start with this. Let's start with the area in your life that you feel like really stoked about, that you feel like really excited about, or really something that you want to like get to. Remember a part of your story Let's go to that moment. I'll go with you.
Okay.
Group 1's here with you too.
Can anyone join?
Yeah, anyone.
Anyone can join that.
Maybe it's the part of your life where you were inspired by your teachers.
Oh, okay, I can. Oh, I can do that.
Let's do that.
Like, you mean to go along with it?
Yeah, like let's go to that part, the part of your map that you just shared with us where you were really inspired. Let's go there.
Okay. I was inspired.
Okay.
Sorry. Inspired by one of my TA, but he used to work at my house, sweeping, helping as a handyman. And at night, he used to go to school. He graduated, and he graduated from high school, go to college, sit down, keep working hard, but he couldn't pay his college, so he had to go to help in a Catholic church and helping them do their job, and they were paying his school for him. They were paying his school for him. And one day, but he graduated from college, became a lawyer, put in his suit again, and keep working forward. And one day, opened the TV, I saw him talking with the president, president, in the TV, and he was his personal lawyer. And to see someone like that, someone like who was down, used to sweep, mopping, and became a lawyer, and he's so rich. And some people said he was doing other bad things, but still, he was able to keep going forward because of his belly, of his thinking. He never give up. Keep working.
Great.
And I felt touched about that. And I even did an essay about this to apply for the school.
Awesome. So one last thing, I know I said that was the last thing, but can we just do really quickly, we're just gonna repeat working, right? And then we're gonna repeat this part. And then we're gonna work. And then we're gonna repeat this part. We're gonna work. And this part. Good. Faster. Faster. Really good at it. Go. 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 Awesome. Okay, good. Give yourself a round of applause. So I think one of the tools, right, is that in going through this, just like when you're writing a paper, right, you sometimes get to a part of your life that you get stuck at, or you get to a part of your paper where you get stuck. And so for me, sometimes it's helpful to go back to that moment and repeat it, right? And you could see that over time, even repeating it, the energy kind of changed, and what it would be like to use that repetition to keep kind of like pushing into that area. And this, go ahead.
It just reminds me, has anyone ever gotten a massage? Where there's a painful part of your body and you just keep pushing it until it feels better? That's what it reminds me of. I don't know if that's a good
No, definitely. It's a lot about like moving that energy, right? So sometimes I feel like we can get in a spot that feels a little bit less comfortable or challenging. But what would it be like to actually use your body? I mean, so my background is actually in like psychology, right? I'm like neuropsychology. And there's a correlation with just putting your body in different gestures that will correlate to your emotions, right? So what does this feel like in your body versus this, right? And how can those two different things relate to how you are approaching your life? Yeah? Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. If we give him one more round of applause. Is there somebody else that would like to share their story with us? Anyone else feeling particularly inspired? I won't make you go into any. Hi, do you want to, maybe?
I'm gonna get. I'm just so shy. Yeah.
I think group 5 has your back. I'll do it with you too. You can just go through part of it.
Okay.
Okay. Here we are. Come on, group 5.
Want to sit up here, Sarah? Want to sit up here?
Sure, thank you.
Okay. So I grew up in Vietnam. I was a big sister, so everyone looked at me. I have to be good. Nothing's gonna go wrong. My sister looking after me. So, okay. But I'm still alone. My family, my father and my mom was so busy, so. Okay, I can do it. I can be a big sister. One day, why don't you go to the U.S. to study? The family business is getting bigger, and we can have you for better education. So, I'm going to the U.S. Okay, I'll be doing this all by myself. I can do it. When I get to the U.S. Okay, now I'm free. Nobody looking at me. I don't have to be a mirror to anyone anymore. So, start making friends, start going out, go to club, dancing, drinking, and coming back. Oh my God, that's too long. I'm 24, I haven't done anything yet. So, I'm going back to school, I'm back to study hard, hopefully that I get a good job to go back to Vietnam, have my parents, it's a few lives alone, but at the same time, I like to be here. I like to be in the U.S. So, okay, I want to do something. I can go back and forth from the two places. So I can satisfy myself with what the need that I want to do. That's it.
Thank you for sharing. I know that was you were shy about it, but you can see how there's some kind of similarities, I think, between our back and forth. That I really resonated with as I was doing your piece. How did it feel to do that?
Kind of fun.
Kind of fun. Were there any parts that surprised you?
Surprised me. That is, I'm getting old and I haven't done anything. And everybody back home was still, okay, she's doing good. She's come back some days and, you know.
So for you, there was correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you were saying there seemed to be a distance between what you were experiencing as feeling like you hadn't achieved anything versus maybe what people at home felt like they expected of you.
Yeah.
And so how did you kind of change that, or how did you move on from there? What did you do next in your life?
Going back to school
Mm-hmm.
and make it become true.
Yeah, so going back to school and like really making that in your body. Thank you. I know that these stories are hard to share, so I really appreciate you sharing them with us as a community in this classroom and as well as with me, because you just met me today and I feel like I already in some ways kind of know you. So we have about 8 minutes left. And group 5, was there anything that you wanted to share about embodying Ha's life? Any like surprises or things that were like new for you?
It's just interesting to learn about someone in that way, especially, I don't know, it's just like weird to see it actually like almost physically done, but not really, I don't know, it's a different way to look at it, I guess. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think what you're picking up on also is this correlation between watching a body actually do movement,
Mm-hmm.
right? In like real time, you're watching someone do it. right, in their bodies, like right now, they're doing it, but also how it has this like draw to something that either happened before or hasn't happened yet. And that's something that in my own research I'm really interested in, right, is like tapping into that moment of like, what is it like to use our bodies to do something right now, even though we haven't gotten there yet? And how can that, in terms of political change and social agency, how can we use our bodies to maybe achieve that thing and like physically do it now to inspire us to maybe do it with our bodies later on? Does that make sense? Any other reflections? Any part that felt like, oh my gosh, this is my story?
When she said that she's 24 years old and she hasn't accomplished anything yet. But really you have. You're here, you know?
Definitely.
And you're not old.
Yeah.
Age is a constant. Great.
Moving to another country too, like that's an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah.
Like that's so hard, I wouldn't be able to do that. So, I have a lot of respect for you for being able to do that.
Are there other reflections from the group from watching that? Cool.
I know, can I share something
Yeah,
real quick? I
please.
noticed that Ha's movements sort of for the first part of her life, before she arrived in the US, the movements were sort of quite similar. I can't remember what they were, but there was, you know, oh, it was this, I think, yeah. And then arriving here, the movements changed, and there was definitely a sense of independence and growth and movement. And so it was interesting to watch your body show how maybe your experience became more nuanced as you had to take care of yourself, move and take care of yourself and so on. That was really interesting. And I don't know if you noticed it, but I think we saw it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just,
Naturally.
yeah, exactly. So you're saying something with your mouth, but you're saying something else, something that's extra. You're nuancing what comes out of your mouth with what comes from your body. So you're thinking on a number of different planes, maybe? And so it becomes a more developed way of expressing when you throw your body in. I think I really appreciate that, Natalia, with the exercise.
Definitely. I think one of the things that it kind of picks up on is sometimes we have this idea about our lives when we tell people our lives, right?
Right.
There's something that comes out when we say words. But I think what is cool about doing them simultaneously is that you're not like thinking so hard about what your body's doing. And so there's a subtext, right? This is like classic storytelling, right? There's a story that you tell, and then there's the subtext of that story that might be told through your body. And particularly in the work that I'm doing with Agent Orange, I'm interested in looking at how there's a narrative history about the way that we talk about Agent Orange. And then there might be something that, looking at bodies, we can understand differently. So how can we look at the bodies affected by Agent Orange, both here in the States as well as in Vietnam, and think about